got quite a diversity there. We start with Costa Diva in 2046, which comes from Bellini's opera Norma, and then we go from there to Only You in Fallen Angels, which
Australian band.
Pardon?
Australian people singing.
Oh, sure. So that's quite a mix to go from opera, from Italian opera to British pop music, and it points to your diverse interests in music. So I'd like to know how, coming from Hong Kong, how you first got interested in Italian opera music, and how you chose Costa Diva for 2046.
No, at first, when Armin asked me to make a clips for these sessions, I find it is very difficult because when I'm working on these clips, I go through all these scenes, and I realize it's because the way we work with music is quite organic. So it is very hard to just take one scenes out of one film and to show the way how to work with the music. So finally, I decided to think, well, okay, choose some of the moments which can demonstrate our experience with the music in our film. For Costa Diva, because in some of the times I have a music in my mind before we start shooting, especially for 2046. The original idea of the film is based on 3 opera stories, and one of them is Norma, and I already have Costa Diva in my mind. So that means this music is in my mind before we start this film. And there's moment we find the music during the shooting, because to me music sometimes it's give us a reference of rhythm of the film. And also I work with a DP who never reads scripts. So for instance, for Chongqing Express, we just finished our film in Ashes of Time in one of the deserts in China, which is near Mongolia. And it is a very different film from Chongqing Express. It is a martial arts costume drama. It's happened a few hundred years ago. And the way we shoot it is very different from Chongqing Express. It is very elaborate and classical. And so by the time when we get back to Hong Kong, we want to do something different. We just want to have some fresh air. We want to do it as free as possible. So we start shooting in an area which I grown up, and have the film in Crystal's apartment. So during the night, we just shoot without permits, without any setup, with just a handheld camera with Chris following Bridget Leans or some of our actors walking along the streets, but I need to give a rhythm to Chris, because if you are shooting with a setup, that means you have a shot, and that means you can tell exactly what the shot is about. But if we have to work like Chongqing Express, that means Chris will be giving the free hand to capture the shot, to get the rhythm. So I need to give him a sense of the rhythm that I'm looking for. So I realize it is the best way to communicate with Chris is not by words. It's basically with music. So once I find this the Baroque by Michael Galasso, and I cut some of the scenes that we shot with Bridget on the streets, and I show it to Chris, and also I show it to Bridget, which is very useful. I realized that I tell them this is the rhythm of the film, and this is what the film is supposed to look like.